If you'd asked me 6 months ago how my life was going, I'd have said, pretty good. Nice house, decent job, stable marriage, the usual checkboxes you tick off by your mid-30s. I wasn't naive. I knew no marriage is a fairy tale after the honeymoon phase. Life happens. Schedules fill up, bills stack, date nights become Netflix and frozen pizza. But overall, I thought we were solid. Her name's Emily. We met in college, she studied marketing, I was neck-deep in computer science. Total opposites, but it worked. She brought color to my black and white world. And for a while, it felt like the perfect balance. But then the shift happened. At first, it was small stuff. New perfume. Now, don't get me wrong, I liked it. Fresh, citrusy, something different from the vanilla she'd worn for years. But when I mentioned it, she brushed it off. Oh, just something I picked up on sale. Fair enough. People change. Then came the phone. Suddenly it was always with her. Like, always. Bathroom, laundry room, garden. And the lock screen? Changed from a photo of us in Italy to some stock photo of a beach at sunset. I joked about it once. What happened to us in Positano? She laughed, forced, thin. Felt like changing it up. Sure. No big deal. But the late nights started creeping in. Work's busy, she'd say. New client, late meeting, team dinner. Thing is, I know her team. I've met them. They're the type to be home by 7 with a glass of wine. Not the burning the midnight oil crowd. And then, of course, there were the texts. She'd be smiling at her phone, typing away, lost in it. I'd ask who it was. Oh, just Sarah from work. Sarah must be hilarious, because those texts had her grinning like a teenager at 11 p.m. Now here's where I'll admit, I didn't confront her. I'm not the jealous type. I don't check phones, don't read diaries. But I pay attention. I grew up watching my old man, a quiet man, never one for drama. But when things went sideways, he noticed. He'd sit back, watch, and when the time came, act. So that's what I did. I watched. I listened. I connected the dots. Little things. A blouse I hadn't seen before. Nails done twice in a week. Gym bag in the trunk, but no gym membership charges on our account. It wasn't one thing. It was all of it. Like drips in a bucket. One by one until it overflows. And the kicker? One Sunday morning, I found an unfamiliar coffee cup in the trash. A takeout cup from a cafe across town, one she'd never been to because it was too hipster. I stared at it for a good 5 minutes. That was the moment I knew. Not suspected, knew. But I wasn't angry. Not yet. That surprised me. I was calm, detached. Like my brain had flipped a switch from loving husband to observer. I didn't yell. I didn't accuse. I just decided it was time to stop pretending. Time to gather facts. You see, betrayal doesn't hit you like a punch to the gut. It's slower. It seeps in, like a leak in the roof you don't notice until it's ruined the ceiling. And me? I was about to climb into the attic with a flashlight. It's funny how life works. One moment you're sipping your morning coffee, scrolling through news, thinking about which tie to wear. Next moment, the whole foundation under your feet starts to shift. That shift came for me on a random Tuesday. Emily had left for yoga. I was working from home that day, one of those flexible tech gig perks. Around noon, my laptop pinged. A notification from our shared cloud account. Odd. We hadn't used it in months. It was just sitting there, old tax documents, vacation photos, the usual digital clutter married couples forget about. Out of curiosity, I clicked. That's when I saw it. A new folder. Miscellaneous. Now tell me, who names a folder miscellaneous in a cloud account no one uses anymore? That's like leaving a neon sign for an auditor. So, I opened it. Inside, a few PDFs, some fitness articles, and one MP4 file. No title. Just a string of random numbers. My heart didn't even race. I was past the adrenaline stage. Just curious. I clicked. It was a screen recording from a phone. A conversation. A chat window. Her chat window. And not with Sarah. At the top, Matt. Work trip buddy winking face. Work trip buddy. Of course. The video scrolled through a conversation, one that started innocent enough. Travel plans, flight details. Then emojis. Then can't wait to see you again. Then photos. Nothing explicit, mind you. but enough to burn the image in my brain. Matt, it turns out, was quite the charmer. And Emily? Well, let's just say she wasn't exactly discussing yoga poses. I sat there for a long moment. Didn't pause, didn't rewind. Just watched the screen until the video ended. And here's the strange part. I wasn't shocked. It was confirmation, not revelation. The missing puzzle piece. But again, no confrontation. No storming into her studio. No, how could you? Scene. Why? Because the game had changed. This wasn't about saving a marriage anymore. It was about strategy. I shut the laptop, leaned back, and thought, okay, now what? First, documentation. I copied the file, stored it safely. Next, passwords. Emily, bless her, had a habit of reusing them. After 15 years together, you learn these things. A few educated guesses later, I had access to an old email account of hers, one she likely forgot about but had synced on an old tablet in our den. And there it was. More messages. Hotel reservations. Ride shares. A florist receipt. Paid with her personal card, but the email confirmations were all sitting there. Piece by piece, the puzzle completed itself. Still no rage. Still no heartbreak. If anything, a quiet clarity settled over me. See, betrayal teaches you a lot about yourself. About patience. About observation. It forces you to stop reacting and start thinking. And I was thinking very clearly now. That night, Emily came home. Sweaty yoga mat in hand. Bottle of kombucha. Kissed me on the cheek. Asked about my day. I smiled. Productive. She had no clue. No flicker of suspicion. And me? I sat across from her at dinner, watching a woman who thought she still controlled the narrative. But the narrative had already shifted. And soon, so would the ending. By the end of that week, I had everything I needed to know. The affair wasn't a one-time slip. It wasn't some desperate attempt to feel alive again, as they say in bad romance novels. No, this was deliberate. Planned. Ongoing. She was seeing Matt regularly. Work trips. Supposed yoga retreats. Weekend conferences that didn't exist. And the most ironic part? She was bad at covering her tracks. For someone who prided herself on running flawless marketing campaigns, her personal life was riddled with amateur mistakes. Unsecured cloud accounts. Forgotten email syncs. Receipts in shared folders. But even then, I didn't confront her. Not because I was scared. Because I was patient. See, there's an old saying in chess, don't rush the mate. You can have the winning board, but if you move too fast, you give your opponent room to wiggle out. And I wasn't about to let Emily wiggle out. So first, I lawyered up. Quietly. Now, finding a divorce attorney is an experience. They come in all flavors, bulldogs, therapists, sharks in suits. I wanted one thing, someone who understood digital evidence. Enter Lisa. Late 40s, sharp as a scalpel, zero tolerance for theatrics. Our first meeting was over coffee. I handed her a folder, printouts, USB drives, documented timelines. She skimmed through it like a seasoned detective. Solid, she said. She won't see this coming. That was the goal. We spent 2 hours laying out a strategy. File quietly. Lock down joint accounts. Secure the house title, which, lucky me, was in my name from before the marriage. No public scene, just a clean legal dismantling. By the end of the meeting, I felt lighter. Not happy, but in control. Lisa stood to leave, smiled and said, "You've already done the hardest part. Now just stick to the plan." And the plan was simple. Don't give Emily a clue until the papers were ready to serve. So I went back to my routine. Smiled at dinner. Asked about her day. Folded the laundry. Played the role. Meanwhile, she was still playing hers. Late nights. Girls' weekends. Extra gym sessions. I watched it all with the calm detachment of a scientist observing a lab rat run the wrong maze. But there's a strange side effect to betrayal. Once the emotional fog clears, life sharpens. Your focus returns. I was sleeping better. Working sharper. Even started hitting the gym again. Funny, isn't it? The person trying to break you often ends up forging a stronger version of you. One night, a friend, oblivious to all of this, commented, "Nick, you look good lately. Happier. What's your secret?" I just smiled, cutting out stress. And that wasn't a lie. Because what Emily didn't know, as she texted Matt under the table and smiled through rehearsed excuses, was that her little empire was already crumbling, one signature away from collapse. And I was perfectly fine waiting for the right moment to light the match. It happened on a Saturday. Fitting, really, weekends are for surprises, aren't they? Emily had organized a small dinner party. Just close friends, a few coworkers, and her sister and brother-in-law. Her idea to reconnect, she'd said. I almost laughed when she suggested it. The irony was too good. By then, everything was ready. The papers were signed. Accounts secured. Evidence cataloged. Lisa had everything lined up. All that was left was timing. And this dinner? It was the perfect stage. I arrived early, played the part, set the table, poured wine, made polite conversation. Emily was glowing that night, new dress, perfect hair, smiling like a woman who thought she had the world on a string. I watched her with a strange calm. Not anger, not sadness, just detachment. The guests trickled in. Laughter, small talk, glasses clinking. At about 8:30, just after dessert, Emily stood to make a little toast. Thanked everyone for coming. Talked about new beginnings and cherishing those we love. I almost applauded the performance. When she finished, she turned to me. Nick, anything to add? I smiled. Oh, I do, actually. I stood, reached into my jacket, and pulled out a small envelope. Placed it on the table in front of her. The room quieted. Curious glances. Emily blinked. What's this? She asked, voice light, a touch nervous. I kept my tone even. Open it. She hesitated. Then, slowly, unsealed the envelope. Inside, a single page, the cover sheet of the divorce filing, and a USB drive. She read the page. Her face went pale. The USB she didn't even touch, but I knew she recognized it. The room was dead silent now. I looked around, voice steady. Since we're all here, I thought it was time for some honesty. Emily opened her mouth, probably to protest, but I held up a hand. Emily's been seeing someone for the past 7 months. Multiple trips. Hotel stays. You'll find the details on that drive. Gasps. Her sister covered her mouth. One coworker actually whispered, "Oh my God." Emily's hands shook. "Nick, we can talk about this later," she stammered. I tilted my head. "No. We'll talk about it when my lawyer calls yours." Then, calmly, I took off my wedding ring, placed it on the table, and straightened my jacket. To everyone else, enjoy your evening. I'll be at the Hilton if anyone needs me. And with that, I walked out. No shouting. No drama. Just a quiet, surgical exit. Outside, the night air was crisp. I took a deep breath, got in my car, and drove. And for the first time in a long time, I smiled. The thing about dropping a truth bomb in a room full of people, it echoes long after you've walked out. I didn't check my phone that night. Didn't need to. I knew what was coming. Missed calls, frantic texts, damage control. Instead, I checked into the Hilton, poured myself a whiskey, and sat by the window. The city looked different that night, sharper somehow, clearer. At about midnight, my phone buzzed. I glanced at it. 10 missed calls from Emily. 4 from her sister. 2 from a coworker. 1 text from Lisa, my lawyer. Nice move. Papers will be served Monday. I smiled and finally went to sleep. The next morning, over black coffee, I scrolled through the messages. Emily started polite. Nick, can we talk? Then, please, we need to discuss this privately. By 2 a.m. How could you humiliate me like that? There it was, not regret for the betrayal, but outrage at losing control of the narrative. Classic. I didn't reply. Silence speaks louder than words sometimes. That afternoon, Lisa called. The grapevine is buzzing, she said, amused. Apparently, one of the coworkers had leaked the story. Half of Emily's office knew by now. By Monday morning, her professional world started to crack. Her boss, an old-school corporate type, wasn't fond of scandal. An internal review was opened. The first domino tipped. Meanwhile, mutual friends began choosing sides. Funny how betrayal clears a room. The people who always gossiped with Emily about others? Gone silent. The real friends? They reached out to me. Didn't see that coming. You handled it like a gentleman. If you need anything, let me know. I wasn't looking for sympathy. Just clean air. And so I started building a new routine. Early gym sessions. More focus at work. Even looked at weekend cabins up north. A getaway spot sounded good. Through it all, Emily kept trying. Emails now long, rambling. Half apology, half accusation. She still didn't get it. It wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about winning. It was about respect, something she'd torched the moment she invited another man into what was supposed to be our life. By Friday, the official serve was done. She'd lawyered up a pricey downtown firm. I wasn't worried. Lisa was surgical. Emotion has no place in the courtroom, she reminded me. And you've already won the only fight that mattered, your peace of mind. She was right. I wasn't bitter. I wasn't broken. I was free. And as I packed a bag for a weekend road trip, phone on silent, window down, fresh air filling the car, one thought crossed my mind. Sometimes the end of a story is just the start of a better one. You'd think after a stunt like that dinner reveal, life would feel like one big soap opera. Drama, tears, endless phone calls. But honestly, it didn't. It felt quiet, peaceful, even. After the papers were served and the lawyers took over, Emily finally stopped texting. Whether her attorney advised her or she realized the fight was lost didn't matter. The silence was welcome. I moved out of the house 2 weeks later. Took only what mattered. My tools, my books, some clothes. Left the rest. I wasn't interested in fighting over furniture or who got the espresso machine. Let her have it. I had something better now, clarity. I rented a small cabin up north 2 hours from the city. A place with no neighbors, no noise. Just tall pines and a lake. At first, I thought it would feel lonely. But it didn't. It felt real. Mornings were simple. Strong coffee, quiet walks, no phone. Evenings, a good book, a glass of whiskey by the fire. I fixed the dock. Repaired the old rowboat. Started fishing again, something I hadn't done in years. Funny how betrayal strips away distractions. Suddenly, the things that really matter come into focus. And me? I was rebuilding. Not the marriage. Not my reputation. Myself. One afternoon, an old friend, Mark, drove up to visit. We'd known each other since college. He'd heard the story through the grapevine. When he saw me chopping wood, he laughed. Damn, man. You went full Hemingway. I grinned. Just needed a reset. Over beers that night? He asked. You regret how you handled it? I thought about it. No, I said. I don't regret finding out. I don't regret leaving. And I sure as hell don't regret doing it on my terms. He nodded. Most guys would have blown up. You played it smart. I shrugged. Anger burns fast. I wanted something that lasts. And that was the truth. Anger fades. But self-respect? That sticks around. The next morning, I got an email from Lisa. Settlement talks progressing. No surprises. Stay the course. Perfect. The last thing I wanted was to get pulled back into the mess. I'd made peace with the past. Now, it was about building a better future. I spent the next few weeks laying foundations. Signed up for a woodworking class. Took on a freelance coding project, something fun. No corporate stress. Started hiking. Slowly, life wasn't about what I'd lost. It was about what I was gaining. And one crisp October morning, as the leaves turned gold, I realized something. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't bitter. I was just free. And sometimes, that's the best kind of revenge. It's been 6 months now. Funny how fast life moves when you stop carrying dead weight. The divorce finalized last week. No courtroom drama, just signatures, a polite nod, and 2 people walking away from something they should have ended years ago. I didn't attend the final meeting. Lisa handled it. She texted me after. Clean. No surprises. You're officially free. I was sitting on the porch when the message came through. Coffee in hand, autumn air cool against my face. And in that moment, I realized something simple but profound. I wasn't the same man who walked into that dinner party with an envelope in his jacket. Back then, I'd been holding it together, calm on the surface, but cracked inside. Now? Solid. Whole. Stronger not because of what I'd done, but because of what I'd learned. Emily, as far as I know, moved out of the city. I hear snippets now and then mutual friends, social media whispers. Apparently, Matt didn't stick around. Shocking, I know. But that's not my story anymore. That chapter's closed. What matters now is this. I rebuilt. New home, new habits, new mindset. The cabin became permanent. I took on more projects, woodworking, coding, even started mentoring younger devs online. I sleep better, eat better, laugh more. I even met someone casually, no rush. Nice woman, bookstore owner. We talk, we hike, we laugh. No pressure. Just life. People sometimes ask, do you ever regret it? Not fighting for the marriage. And here's what I tell them. I didn't stop fighting. I stopped fighting for something that wasn't fighting for me. There's a difference. If betrayal teaches you anything, it's this. You can't control what others do. You can only control how you respond. You can crumble. You can rage. Or you can rebuild, brick by brick. Quiet. Steady. Strong. Looking back, I don't hate Emily. I don't wish her ill. In fact, I'm grateful. Because without her betrayal, I'd still be stuck in a life that wasn't really mine anymore. Now, every sunrise is earned. Every laugh is honest. Every choice is mine. So if you're reading this, maybe sitting where I once sat, coffee cold, wondering how to survive it. Here's my advice. Don't let betrayal define you. Let it teach you. And then, build better. Because trust me, you're stronger than you think.